Hey everyone, this is Phil, and today I wasn't planning to make a video at all. I'm currently working on a video in Japanese. As you might have noticed, I'm kind of alternating in between Japanese and English right now on my channel. And I was planning to keep the next English video for next week. I just got the final issue of Asahi Camera, which is a huge camera magazine that's been around for 94 years, and they're just ceased production, which is just sad as heck. And I think this is actually one of my favorite issues of the mag at all. So there's great features in there about self-portraits and learning from masterworks for your composition. So I think this is a really, really helpful issue. And I'm just so sad that this is the final one that they're doing. This was always one of the mainstays in the Japanese photography scene. So it's really, really sad to see it go. So the reason why I'm doing a video today is because my friend Joan has just uploaded a video she titled Photography Q&A Tag. And it's a Q&A video that encourages you to make your own video with the same questions and just keep that chain letter kind of thing going. So if you're not familiar with Joan, she has been doing a series that she calls Creative Juice. And she's been interviewing fellow creators about all sorts of stuff. But the thing with her interviews is that she doesn't just keep it to like the standard, how did you get started in photography and what's your inspirations and whatever. She actually tries to get to know the person on the other end more than what you're probably used to seeing in interviews. And that really, really vibes with me, because I am here because I want to share this thing that I love with other people that do too. That's my motivation for doing YouTube videos, and this is a great application of that. So I wanted to make sure to hop on that train and keep the Q&A tag going. I will put all the questions down below in the description, as well as a link to Joan's video, obviously. And I would love if you did the same thing and made your own Q&A video. The first question: in this day and age, why film? So my answers are probably going to differ from pretty much anyone else's here, because I'm not a professional photographer. I do this as a hobby. It's a hobby that I invest a lot in, both in time and money, but it's not something that I do for professional reasons, and it's not something that, if I don't do it well or keep doing it, will destroy my livelihood. So for me, film photography is a hobby, and why I am doing film, it's just that I enjoy doing film. I started doing digital photography in the late 90s or early aughts, and it has been my thing for forever. But I rediscovered film lately, and I just like the look that I get from it without having to fiddle with a ton of settings. And I actually get a weird feeling nowadays looking at digital photos. I don't know if you have the same effect in your psyche, but when I look at like super high definition video on like a 4K screen, like the way more reality oriented TV series nowadays are shot, it almost gives me that uncanny valley effect. It's almost too real for me to accept as art. And I've recently started to get the same kind of feeling with digital art. It doesn't feel as pleasing to me as film photography nowadays does. And it's something that I'm struggling with because I enjoy taking pictures with my Olympus Pen F as well. But I haven't really been able to get the results to look like I wanted them to. And that is not meant to knock on digital photography. I think some people are doing it really well, and it's definitely not something that I look down on. It's just that it hasn't been working for me for the past couple of years now. So right now I'm in this film phase. I don't know how long it's going to last. It's very, very possible that I will grow out of it. I certainly have with other things. But right now I'm really enjoying film, and I intend to keep it going. The second question is, have you experienced any bias against film users? No, I have experienced the opposite. Film photographers that have a bias against digital, which is silly, but I haven't really seen anyone talk in a bad way about film photographers. The closest thing I think I've gotten is a friend of mine who's also into photography but not a professional, saying, like, I feel it's less convenient in every way as compared to digital, which, yeah, I guess so. But that's the only negative comment I think I've gotten about that. And I haven't seen any bias, no. The next question is, what kind of camera/lens do you use? So most of the cameras that I use don't have interchangeable lenses. So my main squeeze, I guess, is the Voigtländer Bessa with the 10.5 centimeter f3.5 Heliar lens. And then the other medium format camera that I have been using a ton is the GS645. This is also a folder camera, but this one is from the 80s or 90s. Yeah, I have been really enjoying this camera. So much more than I expected. And that's been in my bag the past couple of weeks since I bought it. And then also Mamiya 7 is still on the roster. I haven't been using that much since I got the GS. I expect that once I've used the GS a ton and kind of the novelty has worn off, then I might go back to the Mamiya 7 more than I am right now. But at the moment, yeah, Mamiya 7. And then 35 millimeter, I really enjoy my 35 DC from Olympus. This is a wonderful camera. It looks great. It has manual focus, but auto exposure, which I really enjoy, and manual winding as well. I don't like motors, so this works really well for me. And it's kind of the same deal with the Olympus XA. This is a super compact camera that I have been really enjoying. It's also manual focus, auto exposure with a aperture priority system. And that's usually how I shoot in my digital photos as well. So this is really easy and nice to use for me. So I'm really enjoying the XA. And that's pretty much the cameras that I'm currently using on a daily basis. The next question is film speeds. Is it terribly important? Yes, because I don't like tripods. So I usually rely on the film speed to get me through the shot. And as you might have noticed from my complaining in the past few videos, it's been very rainy and overhung for quite a while. Over here it's the rainy season right now. So right now film speeds are very important. I love shooting with Kodak Ektar, but I haven't been able to because it's too dark and I don't want to use a tripod. So yes. The next question is has several parts. So it says, how did you get started in photography? Would you do this as a profession? Have you been recognized for your work? I have always been taking photographs. I started playing with my mother's and grandmother's cameras when I was a child. I have very little recollection of those times. Unfortunately, have a very bad memory. But I do remember when I was in junior high school, I would always have a compact camera. At the time, it was an APS film system camera. I would always carry that with me and snap pictures of both my friends, but also like random compositions that I just saw on the street. And that's always been kind of what I take pictures of. I see a composition somewhere, like an interesting angle, some interesting combination of shapes or colors, and I want to document that, and that's what I take on pictures. So that's what I have always been doing, always been taking pictures. It's always been a part of my life, and it's something that I always want to continue doing. The next part is, do you or would you do this as a profession? I've already said that I'm not a professional photographer, and I would probably not do it as a profession because I think it would probably kill my love for photography. I would probably stop doing my own photography that I do for fun. And I don't want that to happen. I think I want to have this as something that I enjoy doing and that I want to continue for as long as I'm alive. So I am not looking to make a profession out of it. And the same goes with YouTube, by the way. I have no ambitions in that way. Have you been recognized for your work? I have 600 people who are following me on Instagram, and I have about 260 on my YouTube channel, and I feel that's kind of recognition in a way. I haven't applied for any contests or group shows or whatever. That might be something that I might be interested in, doing like an exhibition. I think over here most photographers just rent the gallery and put on a show of their own. I want to do this. I want to try this. First, I don't have the money right now, but also I want to have something to go with it. So I kind of want to do a zine and do a show that goes along with it. I would really enjoy doing that, but I don't really need to have that in like a professional environment. I can do it in a rental gallery, and I would definitely like to try that, but I'm not really interested in like succeeding in the art world or whatever. Medium format or 35 millimeter, which do you prefer and why? Medium format. I started shooting around 3 years ago, I think, with film, and the first camera that I bought was my Vogtländer Bessa, which is a folding medium format 6x9 camera, and that way I started with the biggest negative that you can pretty much get on roll film, like excluding sheet film or those extremely specialized panoramic medium format cameras. So I started with medium format, and I've kind of gotten used to the look. It's kind of what I expect from my pictures. I have taken shots that I really like on 35 millimeter cameras, but for stuff that I want to express something with, or that I would consider more of like a, for lack of a better word, work of art. And I don't like calling myself an artist, but for stuff like that, I would definitely choose medium format every time. And I appreciate that look that medium format gives you, the depth of field, the kind of rendition that you can definitely tell that it's medium format. I can't always quite pin it down, but I always prefer the look and also the colors. It feels like the colors are different on medium format than they are on 35 millimeter, and I prefer the ones on medium format. So yeah, always medium format for me, but I do also use some 35 millimeter cameras for more mundane everyday shots and kind of more documentary style work that I do. How do you educate yourself to take better pictures? Tough question. So I never went through a formal education for photography. I did 1 year, might have only been half a year, of the photo club in my junior high school. Unfortunately, our teacher moved away, so the program went away. And that's the only experience I had with the darkroom. After that, I got excited again about film photography, watching Ted Forbes videos mostly on YouTube. And I think YouTube has given me a lot of knowledge that I am probably using subconsciously to improve my photography. But I'm not consciously trying to emulate stuff that I see on videos or on Instagram or whatever. Whose work has influenced you the most? Photography-wise, well, Saul Leiter is the obvious answer. That is something, his images are something that I strive for when I take pictures on the street. But he was also a very accomplished fashion photographer, and he took a lot of images of people as a subject, which is something that I rarely do. So it's kind of a half answer. It's not really something you would see, I think, in my images. I definitely enjoy the work of great photographers, but I don't feel that it's actually influenced my photography that much. And I have an issue that is really, really bugging me, and that's that I don't have any Japanese photographers that I really like. So this is a really, really weird thing for me, because I've been living here for quite a while, and the Japanese photography that I've been exposed to is generally not what I like to look at that much. So I can appreciate it for its expertise, and I do see the artistic merit in it. But it's all stuff that I wouldn't be interested in shooting that way myself. So obviously the big names that you would recognize, like Moriyama and like Araki and those guys, I don't enjoy that much. And that's largely because lots of it is black and white, and also color that stems from a life of having shot black and white, I think. That kind of color that has really saturated blacks and like not a lot of pleasing color gradation in there, that kind of doesn't vibe with me. So if you have any Japanese photographers that look like something that I would enjoy, that is kind of more easy to digest and pleasing to look at, then I would definitely love to hear about that. So the only Japanese photographer that I really enjoy, that I consciously enjoy, is Herbie Yamaguchi, because his images, while in black and white, have a lot of warmth in a humanistic sense that I really enjoy. And I have recently gotten some zines or like mini art books from him that I really enjoyed. So I'm definitely gonna want to do some a zine update where I want to include those. And I hope he doesn't sue me for it. The last question is, what is the one thing you wish you knew when you started taking photos? Jeez, bring on the heavy questions. I don't know if I know that much that would have made a huge difference to me when I started taking pictures, because I kind of did it organically as a part of my life for pretty much all of my life. And there's been other hobbies that have taken priority over it. I've been into other things, but I think maybe one of those things that might have been comforting for me is that whichever hobby I chose to invest my time in, it doesn't distract from, it doesn't ever distract from the other ones. So I've always had a lot of hobbies. I've been into comic books, both American and Japanese. I've been into archery. I made it my job. I have been in photography, forever. I've been into video games, and they're all kind of always there. And then something might take the rudder and dominate my life for some time, but the other things are always there. So I will never grow out of photography, and I think that it's good to know that the investments, both in time and money, that I've made in photography will always have a use to them. So this has been fun to do. I don't know if this is actually interesting for anyone to watch, but again, Joan, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate the chance to get to know people a little more than they usually share on here. And I hope that a lot of people will jump on this and do their own Q&A tag videos. I would definitely love to hear from more people about all this stuff. And thank you for watching so far. I'm not sure if anyone watched all of this, but if you did, you're a rock star. I really appreciate it. If you found this interesting in any way at all, then please subscribe. I do try to keep the videos coming. It's not always possible to do one a week, but I try to keep a schedule that will give you something new to watch, because if you're anything like me, you never run out of stuff to watch. YouTube is amazing in that respect. So yeah, thank you so much, and I hope to see you again.